going on, y'all? 5 Sports Hall back at it with another video talking some more NBA, talking NBA free agency. And here to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have made a lot of noise in NBA free agency. Tom Thibodeau is a happy man because he is getting the band back together. You might as well call them the Minnesota Timberwolves at this point because of their recent signings. And I'm talking about Taj Gibson and then trading for Jimmy Butler and now signing Jeff Teague. So here to break down to you guys how good I think this Minnesota Timberwolves team can be next season, the type of leap I expect them to make, and much more. So let's get started. So real quick, the Timberwolves signed Jeff Teague to a 3-year, $57 million contract after shipping out Ricky Rubio to the Utah Jazz. And then after that, they signed Taj Gibson to a 2-year, $28 million deal. So now you're talking about a starting lineup of Jeff Teague, Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, Taj Gibson, and Karl Anthony Towns. And the bench isn't bad either. You got Gorgui Dieng, you have Justin Patton, the rookie, you have Tyus Jones backing up Jeff Teague. Shabazz Muhammad, I don't know what's going to happen with him. He is an unrestricted free agent. The Bulls should get him, by the way. My Bulls, I like Shabazz a lot. But with that being said, that is a formidable starting five you've got there. So how do I like this starting five gelling together? Well, of course, you've got Jimmy Butler, as now I believe at this point, he's probably the best player on the team. I know Karl Anthony Towns is on the rise. But you're talking about upgrade at point guard. I loved Ricky Rubio, but he couldn't shoot a lick. And you know what? Jeff Teague is a better point guard than Ricky Rubio, no matter how much you slice it. And you will see that he will be an improvement on this team. So you got an upgrade at point guard. Jimmy Butler is a huge, huge upgrade over Zach LaVine at the 2. Andrew Wiggins, another year of development. Taj Gibson. Now, a lot of people said the Timberwolves overpaid for Taj Gibson. They could have used the money somewhere else. But the thing with Taj Gibson is now that the Timberwolves are ready to make that leap and make that jump into actually being a competitive NBA team and not just rebuilding, this signing indicates they are done rebuilding. Thibodeau wants to start winning games, and Taj Gibson is a proven veteran in this league, who of course with Tibbs on the Bulls has played in big games, has played in big playoff games. He's got big experience, and he's going to be a perfect mentor for Karl Anthony Towns. He was a huge voice in the locker room on the Bulls back when Thibodeau was there, and he was still a huge voice in the locker room with Fred Hoiberg. Basically, Taj is just a great leader and a great guy to have around. And that's what you need when you want to start winning. You need good veterans. You need good veteran leadership. And Taj Gibson is going to provide that to Karl Anthony Towns. So for that reason, I do like this signing. Is the price a little high? $14 million a year? Yes, but it's only 2 years, so that helps, okay? So you take that into account. Taj Gibson, and I believe he's an upgrade at power forward. And then Karl Anthony Towns, his ascension into superstardom, he's going to only get better. So at this point, this Minnesota Timberwolves team, I like them to be a top 4, top 5 team in the Western Conference next year. Yes, I said it. And the reason why I'm saying it is because last year they finished 13th in the conference. And I'm just looking at the teams ahead of them right now. I can tell you just based off of, again, this is on paper, a lot to go here, but they will be better than the Kings, the Mavericks, the Pelicans, the Nuggets, the Blazers. I believe they'll be better than Clippers. I think they'll be better than Grizzlies. Maybe the Jazz, depending on what happens with Gordon Hayward. If Hayward's gone, I think they'll be better than Jazz. And then maybe the OKC Thunder now that they have gotten Paul George. But I expect them to be in that mix for like 4 and 5 in the Western Conference, right behind the Warriors, the Spurs, and the Rockets. And like I said, maybe OKC and maybe Utah. The one thing I will say, though, is I do see a lack of shooting on this roster. Isn't this a perfect Tibbs team? There's not that much shooting. But with that being said, they will be rough. They will be physical. I think this is going to be a top 10 defensive team for sure. Top 5 maybe as well. I know Wiggins and Towns aren't the greatest defenders, but I think, again, with defenders like Taj, with defenders like Jimmy Butler, they're going to grow into better defenders. So I fully expect them to be a very, very good and rough physical team. And you want to think about that balance in the starting five. Now, the other thing, again, like I said, is who's taking the last shot, who's the leader on this team. I believe Jimmy Butler right now, I think, is the best player, but Karl Anthony Towns is ascending, like I said, so I don't see too much of a problem here. Like I said, Tom Thibodeau knows these guys. He knows Jimmy. He knows Karl Anthony Towns. I just hope he does not run these guys to the ground like he did when they were on the Bulls, because the Timberwolves have depth now. They can run out Jimmy Butler out there with Wiggins, or they can run Jimmy out there with Towns and Wiggins resting. There's a lot of staggering that Tibbs can do, so I think he should do that with this roster. The only reason I said that I don't see them, being better than, well, of course they're not better than the Warriors, and I think the Rockets just have better experience than them. It's still a young team, like I said. Jimmy Butler and Taj Gibson are the veterans on this team, so they do have a lot to learn. Jeff Teague as well, but I like this roster. I like the moves made by Minnesota. Yes, they need shooting for sure, but hopefully a lot of these guys, Karl Anthony Towns can hit threes. Jimmy Butler's a decent shooter. Andrew Wiggins is a developing shooter. Jeff Teague can hit the open shot. Taj Gibson can hit the mid-range. So it's not like they're completely inadequate. It's not like they were the Bulls last year with Rondo, Wade, and Jimmy. So I like this Minnesota team a lot. Kudos to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they're going to be a top 4 or 5 team in the Western Conference next year. And the Western Conference is going to be a bloodbath, guys. Is there any Eastern Conference? Are there any All-Stars left on the Eastern Conference All-Star team? I have to double-check, but every star is going west, PG, Jamie, whatnot. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and thanks for watching.